Welcome back to Mongo's Garage. Today, decided to split the tranny from the motor. Make sure it's all bolted up good. Make sure the torque converter's in it, which it is right there. It's good and solid. It looks brand new. It's like a starter's never been run on that flywheel. So this is the piece. This is the key to it all. Trans mount for this car. So we're gonna clean that up, paint it black. And it gets installed right there. You guys can see those two holes. That's where it gets laid. So then I also need to take these motor mounts. If you see all the washers on them there, that's not supposed to be like that. So this motor mount actually needs to go up here. And then they'll fit right in there. And then maybe once Dad gets home, he's out on the road for work, we can put this old girl back in the car, start plumbing stuff, make her run, and get her out of here. And who knows what next we'll bring in. There's so many projects we got. Watch as we put this motor back in this car.
1, 2, 3. There you go. So what was the last one you put in? That was the 2 tangs on the pump motor, or on the pump, driving the pump for the transmission. Yeah. And the other, the one was the stator, and the other was the input shaft. So we've got the 360 hanging here for the charger, and as you can see, whoever painted it didn't pay much attention to the oil filter galley, nor did they clean the paint off the back of the block, but we went ahead and did that. We checked the torque on the flywheel. It is good, and we did figure out how the motor mounts are supposed to go. We got that one on there correctly. We're gonna get this thing bolted back up here. Now that we got all 3 clicks in the torque converter, we can put her back together, and we'll go from there. All right, so there it is. We got it all back together. The starter is bolted back on. Torque converter is all bolted up. Everything's good to go. We did check the torque on the flywheel, like I said. No eccentric for the fuel pump, so we don't know what we're gonna do there. Probably just use an electric fuel pump. Motor mounts are all correct. We took the god-awful spacers out of them, and we think we got them where they're supposed to be. Measuring the K-frame, if you look in there, the left side is just ahead 3/4 of an inch further than the right side. So that's what we did to the engine, and now hopefully it won't sit in there crooked anymore either. All right, tomorrow we're gonna dump this thing in there and move along with this project. So the next part to this story you can't see in there. Maybe if I get you close enough. There's no eccentric in there for the fuel pump that goes on there. So you could shove it in there all day long and it's not gonna work. We're gonna have to find something to make that work. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is now Wednesday, November the 3rd. And yes, I did say November 3rd. I'm in short sleeves and shorts. It's really nice out here right now. And we are gonna take advantage of the weather while we have it. So we got a bunch of parts today. KJ, show us what we got.
Braking oil, oil filter, heater hose, water from gasket, exhaust manifold gaskets, dipstick, some belts.
Over there to the left is the eccentric for the fuel pump. And the little
oil pump
adapter for the oil filter. So we definitely have some things to do here today. Let's get started on this and at least get this engine ready to drop back in there. All right, everybody. KJ and I now know why we don't like MOPARs. KJ, why don't you like MOPARs?
Those are junk.
Oh, I'm telling you.
A body, B body, and stupid body.
Stupid thing. We did get finally the 360. Yeah, we finally got the 360 back in between the fender wells here, but it fought us every step of the way. The cross member's still not in it for the rear, but we'll do that in the morning. As you saw, we went ahead and put all the good stuff on the front of that motor again. Made sure the eccentric was in there for the fuel pump, mounted the fuel pump, got everything all back on it. Now all we need to do is mount some accessories on it, get some lines run, and we can start seeing if we can make this thing fire. All right, it is about 9:35 right now. We're gonna head to the house, and then you'll see us back out here tomorrow night. See y'all later. Say bye to the people, KJ.
Bye to the people, KJ.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? You got the old Mongo man here, laying underneath the Stormtrooper, trying to get this transmission put into place. I got the mount in it, got all the bolts back in it. Everything seems to be pretty good. Miraculously, this engine is back where it belongs. Let's see if I can give you somewhat of a decent look at this. There's your motor mount and how everything looks installed. So next will be the cooler lines, which one hooks up there, the other one hooks up somewhere up here, right there. Those will be my cooler line connections. We're waiting on a shifter. I have to get something for the kickdown, which we have a lot of that there already. And then we're gonna need a speedometer cable and a dry shaft, because right now there is no dry shaft. All the way back to the rear end. The underside of this car isn't terrible, but it's also not the greatest. You can see here where there was a hole in the floor for a 4-speed shifter probably at one time that somebody put a big old patch in. But as far as rust, like I said, it's not terrible. I have definitely seen worse. It just needs some loving. You can see here where this floor is all beat in. Probably hit a couple things, one too many. Same on that side where it's all beat in, right there. Looks like there was a hole wore in the floor there. I'm not real sure what that is. Looks like the dry shaft wore a hole in the floor at some point. I don't know. That's interesting. So yeah, that's what we got here. I think I'm done out here for the night. The concrete's pretty cold, and it's just about 9 o'clock. So we messed around with KJ's truck a little bit here when I got home from work, and then I came out here and got this rear transmission cross member mount in. So at least we got something done. Following my mantra, get something done every day. All right, peace, guys. Talk to y'all later. So yes, with that rear mount in place, the motor looks like it's a whole lot happier sitting in that engine bay. Sitting up good and level. It's squared up, left to right. Now we can start getting some of this stuff hooked to it. Get the headers all hooked up again, start putting the accessory drive back on the front end of it. Get that distributor dropped in there and right. And hopefully Saturday we can turn this thing over and see if it'll run. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Got the old Mongo man out here at an undisclosed location this afternoon. We are collecting some parts for the Stormtrooper. My buddy Chad has a 318 sitting here that has the kickdown assembly on it that I need for the Stormtrooper, as well as, well, possibly some other stuff. Let's take a look what we got here. So like I said, 318, same transmission. What I need is this whole kickdown assembly. Comes back to this bell crank, goes to that bell crank, and then down here to the kickdown linkage itself. So we're going to try and harvest all these parts and hopefully make them work on the Stormtrooper. This is an old Derby car engine from back when Chad and I used to run the Derbies. Actually, this is the engine that came out of General Norman, I believe, as well as the 302 in the weeds there too. And can't rightly see, oh, it's another 302 fuel injected. So just a little bit of junk sitting here in the weeds. See what we got here. Made it home from Chad's, and now we're gonna toy around here with the old Stormtrooper a little bit. Looks like all of the brackets I got for the kickdown are gonna work fine. I did get a piece of tubing for the main fuel line to come up to the carburetor. It was for a 2-barrel carburetor, set up a little differently than this one. So what I'm gonna do is come up with something a little better, something that will work, get me a little closer to where I gotta put the fuel in to that big bad carburetor. So come along for that and check out what we're doing. Okay, so this is the piece we're gonna try and copy. We're gonna get this mounted up. I have a new piece of tubing here and my trusty tubing bender. Let me get this bad boy mounted into place here. Alright, so the first bend we're going to do, well, we're going to start at that end. So is this going to be this guy right here? So it's pretty much, looks like a 90, as tight as this bender will make. A little bit further out. So that goofy looking thing is a copy of this goofy looking thing. Let's see what it does on the car. Like I said, I was going to have to do some twisting. All right, so we got fuel line is on. I still have to bubble the end of it and get it up the size so that it will fit in that 3/8 rubber tube. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it there. I'm going to try and get it a little bit further away from those headers, so that way we don't get any any heat transfer there, and we'll see what that does. So now I know I've said it before, and I'm probably going to say it again before we get this thing out of the garage. But Jesus Chrysler, my goodness gracious. I mean, I've seen some things put together in my life. I've worked on Chevys before, but man, this is something else. Why couldn't everything be as easy as a Ford? Ooh, I think I just touched a couple nerves there, Kenny. There is literally no way to put a Allen key into that bolt on the header. Daisy's got this side all back together. I'm going to throw stuff around here a little bit. What's next? We have to figure out how to put all that stuff in. Think a header's going to leak? I'm glad someone took the time to print an oxymoron on the valve covers there, because those are two words that probably should never go together. You guys know I'm just joking. Come on.